This podcast is part of the Batman Universe Podcast Network, hosted by the BatmanUniverse.net. Check out everything related to Batman and the entire Bat family at the BatmanUniverse.net, including news and original content related to comics, movies, television, merchandise, video games, and more. Also, check out some of the other unique podcasts that TBU has to offer. Consider supporting this podcast by becoming a patron on Patreon. Even $1 can go a long way in supporting this content that you enjoy. Look for a link over at the BatmanUniverse.net to offer your support now. And now, on with the show.
Scarecrows frightened of the clouds, laughing boys. I am a Batman. I am a Batman. Shine and signal, come out to play. I am a Batman. I am a Batman. Bring it on, Batman. Jump out your cave, 'cause I am a Batman. I am a Batman. Shine that signal, come out and play. I am a Batman.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 247 of Dublin Dane. My name is Tim, and joining me, as always, is Dublin Dane himself, Dane. How's it going?
Hey, Tim. Or should I say Tim the Betrayer?
Tim the Betrayer?
I am, yeah.
What did I do?
I'm fully caught up on Andor.
Oh, okay. Tim Betrayer. That Tim. Okay, now I got it.
Yeah.
I thought I did something to you, like, over the last 2 weeks. Man, what did I do to betray Dane?
No. Not to me personally, but you have done some things to Andor, Cassian Andor, and then you died.
Very unheroically, too.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to save Biggs, right?
Yeah, but he couldn't even make it down like 2 steps before he got shot and taken out.
Well, at least he tried, Tim. At least he tried.
I guess we need another Star Wars character named Tim to redeem that name. And technically, I mean, it's pronounced the same, but it's spelled Timm, like how Bruce Timm is spelled. So technically, it's not the same exact as my name is.
Tim.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make excuses. It's Tim. It's Tim. You hear it as Tim. It's like, yeah. I mean, Tim, it's you. Sorry. You couldn't be a heroic Jedi. You had to be. You had to be the scapegoat for all of Andor's problems.
Pretty much the catalyst of the show, almost, you could say.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you're right. Because if he didn't say anything, they wouldn't know he was on that planet, which I'm forgetting the name of.
Barracks, I believe it is.
Yeah, Barracks, yeah. Or Ferrix, sorry.
Barracks,
yeah. Yeah, wow, Jim.
So you are caught up.
Kind of yes, I am.
Okay, cool.
Fully caught up. I am up. You know what? Let's hold it until we do the little section that we have.
Our TV recap section, which sadly is dwindling down.
Yeah.
We're going to be down to what after this episode?
But it's probably the best out of the bunch, I'd say.
You can make that argument. You can definitely can.
Yeah, I know you're a little hesitant because it's like all of your favorite franchises. It's like picking your favorite kid. But
almost, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for me it is.
All right. So before we dive into all that stuff, let's kick off, like we always do, with our Fellowship of the Ring minute-by-minute commentary, which sadly won't be followed by a Rings of Power discussion. So it's one of the shows that is sadly over with now. But I don't know if you've been seeing my tweets last week where I went on a Tolkien Middle-earth book shopping spree and just got a bunch of books that I've never read before and rebought the Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and the Silmarillion. But I was bummed because I got this nice illustrated box set of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings in one box. And it's this illustrated edition. The covers are beautiful. There's great artwork by Alan Lee in there. But it comes with this case that all the books are in. That was nice too. But as soon as I took it out, I took a photo of it. And then I after I posted it on Twitter, I saw, oh man, that a little rip. And it's like there's like a big tear and rip on the box that the books are encased in. I was like, no, why? So I didn't look at them too much because I had to send them immediately back. And I have a new set on the way. It should be arriving tonight, according to the tracking. So hopefully this is one that's not damaged, because I do not want to send it back again because these books, they're not they're for a few years old now. So I didn't even get it directly from Amazon. I bought it from Amazon, but it had to go through another retailer. So it's not like these books are out there and like tons of them out there just to go and buy, because I would rather prefer just to go to Barnes and Noble or something and pick it up in person, but they're not available there. So if I don't want to have to keep sending them back, because I don't think there's going to be that many available. So here's hoping when I get them today, they're in nice condition. I can put on my bookshelf and go through them again, because I really want to dive into those books again, just with the illustrations. And my plan is, because I shouldn't say just started, but I'm kind of midway through of listening to the audiobooks of The Hobbit with Andy Serkis. And because I know you're dived into the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I just got the trilogy on the audiobooks as well. So I'm kind of but I might be doing something where I'm reading and listening to at the same time with the audiobook and going through the new those new illustrated books I got. But should be fun. But I just started reading The Children of Huron, if I'm pronouncing it right, which so far I'm really enjoying. It's a first age book, which I know of certain elements that happened in that story, which sounded cool to me, and I wanted to read the whole thing. So I'm diving into that one. And I also got the Baron and Luthien book. I got Unfinished Tales. I got another edition of the Silmarillion coming. So I'm going to be in Middle Earth for a long, long time. Not to mention, I got that new illustrated art book of The Rise of the Dragon, it's called, just based on the Targaryen history, which is awesome as well. So I'm going back and forth between Middle Earth and Westeros as far as my reading material these last few weeks, and it'll probably be that way for the foreseeable future for me.
Is the rip on the left part of the case?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I see it. I'm looking at the picture now.
Yeah, it's like I noticed it afterwards, and I looked at the pictures. Like if you zoom in a little bit, you can notice where the tear is, but if you like pull it a little bit, it's a lot wider than what's showing in that picture.
I see. Oh, that sucks, then. So you have to send it back and get another one.
Yeah, so it's about to take a little over a week if it arrives today, like it says it will.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Not too bad, because thought it was going to be like 2 weeks or so, but
yeah. And on the cover of the Silmarillion, is that the ships for the Numenorians?
No, but they're elven ships. I forget the exact.
Oh, they're elven ships.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So I had to send that Silmarillion book back as well, because that was an older edition. It is a bigger book, as you can tell, but they came out with another illustrated edition a couple of years ago, which has more artwork in there. I was like, I didn't realize there was another one. So I sent that back, and that one's on the way. That should come in like another week as well.
Wow, what a bad experience with Amazon, Tim. I mean,
it hasn't been my best.
Yeah,
well,
one was kind of your fault with the Silmarillion, but
exactly.
The other one wasn't your fault with the Lord of the Rings illustrated collection.
Yeah, I was all excited. Oh, I'm gonna have them all ready to display at my bookshelf, and just which one will I start diving in first? And I was like, well, it's not going to be the Silmarillion, it's not going to be the Fellowship or the Lord of the Rings trilogy or the Hobbit, but thankfully, I got some other books to keep me busy till those ones arrive again.
I like the GIF that you tweeted out after that. Gollum screaming.
That's how I felt when I saw that big tear. Like,
And I like the pictures after that of like your neighbors' Halloween decorations.
Oh yeah. I was just going out for a walk, and I was like, oh man, the one with the big skeleton is just like a couple of houses down. I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. And then just walking around my neighborhood there's one with the big wolf man. That looked really cool. That's probably my favorite.
It's all blurry.
I know.
Looks like it jumped out at you or something.
It was like I didn't mean it to come out that way. When after I took it, I looked at, oh man, that didn't come out as good. But you know what? It actually kind of fits.
But anyway, I like your DC glasses.
Yeah, those ones I've had for a while, but going through certain things, they were like stored away, like I think probably for our last move, and then kind of got them out and go, man, these are really cool. I forgot I had these.
Let's see. Have you been doing the Saga Continues for 10 years?
We have, yep. This past
Wow.
week, November 2nd, is officially the 10-year anniversary when we released our first episode.
Wow, how does I'm forgetting their names, Kyle and Paul stomach you
for 10 years.
No,
Well,
10
mainly
years.
Kyle, because we started out first, just the two of us.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Well, and you too, Dane. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fortunate that I'm celebrating 2 10-year podcast anniversaries in 1 year.
Oh, really? We started 10 years ago, too?
Earlier in the year is April.
I see. Anyway, I am done getting distracted by Twitter.
Or
By your
this
Twitter
is looking at Tim's photo section on Twitter.
Yeah. This is the new segment of the podcast.
I'll be sure to post interesting ones every day. Okay, so after explaining my whole Lord of the Rings book ordeal, let's get into the commentary for the Fellowship of the Ring. So go ahead and grab your VHS copy, your DVD copy, HD DVD, Betamax tape, your laser disc, your Blockbuster membership card, your Netflix physical media, your projector, your DVHS copy, and as always, the one we're watching it on, our VHS converted to DVD copy made from my now 12-year-old PC that's still alive and kicking right now, just barely. And we're going to go from minute 35 to 36. So, Dane, if you're ready, I'll give the countdown.
I am ready, Tim.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, play. This is actually one of my favorites, even though it's a short addition to the extended cut of the Fellowship of the Ring. Just seeing the hobbits have some fun at the Green Dragon singing a song. It's a very catchy song, too.
Is this in the book?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Can't
sure
remember.
it is.
Oh,
Because, there's a lot of songs in the book, and they obviously didn't include not very many of them in the films. So it's kind of cool to see that there is one at the start of it when the extended edition came out. I believe it just picks up right here where the hobbits are having this conversation.
I see.
I always like how Frodo, what they're calling out how little strange and like Bilbo, and he goes, I'm proud of it. Just embracing your nerdy side of things. Which is how I feel. Exactly. Yeah. And that's it. We spent a minute at the Green Dragon, and it was fun.
Is that the same woman that Sam ends up with at the end?
Yeah, Rosie.
Yeah, Rosie. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure because it's, honestly, it's been a while since I've seen Return of the King.
You should change that.
Yeah.
No, I gotta confess, Dane. I know I did this a few times for The Dark Knight Rises, but I had my first cheat in our minute by minute commentary where I watched Fellowship of the Ring about a week or two ago. So
it's ruined. The experiment is ruined.
I think now to make it right, we have to start all the way over again.
Yeah, we got to start with the Hobbit movies. Too.
There you go. Yeah. All in.
No, technically, it would be the Rings of Power, right?
If we're gonna go in chronological order, yes.
Yeah. We'd have to start with. Oh wow! So we're never gonna finish.
No. We'll see where we are on our 20-year anniversary, where we're at with this. All right, so let's go ahead and get into, like I said before, our dwindling TV show discussions on this podcast. So where do we should begin, Dane? Should we begin with the final episode of House of the Dragon, or should we start with Andor?
Probably House of the Dragon, because I am curious as to what you think.
House of the Dragon, right now, we'll have to wait to see how Andor ends, but all the shows we've been talking about, House of the Dragon probably is my favorite right now. I think they did an awesome job with the finale and ending the first season with the bang and setting up what's to come in future seasons. And I kind of like how they did it too, because we didn't talk about the penultimate episode, I believe, but it was kind of where episode 9 was focused on the Greens with Alicent and her family, and then the finale was on the Blacks with Rhaenyra and Daemon and their family, and how they're kind of dealing with the death of Viserys and obviously what to do about it once they put the Greens put Aegon on the throne. And that episode was crazy, just as far as like him being missing and everyone trying to find him for their own personal gain and how to do things, and then just getting that awesome moment where Rhaenys enters this coronation with her dragon and just has that moment where she could have took them all out, but she didn't, and then flew away, which leading up to the finale. Now that I think about it, I think we did talk about that on our last episode. Timeline's a little confusing right now as far as our recording schedules and when these shows air, but I just like how the final episode of it just really dealt in kind of everything that we saw Rhaenyra go through in the first few episodes, or the episodes in the season leading up to this moment where she will, or she should be, I should say, become queen of the Iron Throne, and just kind of mirroring certain things where, like, going through that birth again, which kind of mirroring the first episode with her mother and what a traumatic experience that was, as far as she refusing the help from like the housemaids and the nurses and all that, not to assist with the birth, but doing it all herself, knowing what happened with her mother, and obviously the same result with the child dying there, and just everything that she's gone through leading to this moment of obviously not officially in King's Landing becoming queen, but there on Dragonstone, everyone is supporting her, making her queen, and how they're going to go about dealing with Aegon being on the throne, kind of officially, quote unquote, and just that standoff she had with Hightower, kind of trying to make a peaceful resolution to this, but obviously that's not going to happen. She is the rightful heir. She calls them, they're trying to usurp the throne. So just everything setting the stage up, and then it just leading to that big moment at the end, which really kicks off the Dance of the Dragons and the Civil War with her son Luke going to visit Storm's End, which was cool to see. I forget his name, but obviously one of Robert Baratheon's ancestors there, trying to tell him to, obviously they made an oath and to still support it, but Aemon beat him to the punch, kind of not just asking for support, but offering their family into marriage with one of their daughters. And this moment I was really looking forward to seeing, because this is one of the big moments from the story that I knew what was going to happen watching the history and lore videos. And it sounded like a really cool moment to see happen on screen. And it did not disappoint, where you just kind of see how Luke is kind of out of his element there, just being a young kid, probably no more than 13 or so. But yet having this big position to call support for his mother, to one of the major lords in Westeros, House Baratheon, and just Aemon beating him to the punch, and just obviously being older and still kind of being more of a threat to him, still wanting payback and revenge for losing his eye. And you get to see how uncomfortable it was for Luke, and really nerve-wracking it had to have been, and just really quick to get out of there once all that was happening. But knowing what was to come with the kind of the first battle between dragons in the Civil War that's about to take place in this moment here, visually it looked great. It looked really cool seeing dragons fly in the rain. Some of the coolest shots ever of dragons in Game of Thrones happened here. Just first off, when you see Luke entering Storm's End, he just looks to the side and you see the head in front of Vhagar, how big she is as a dragon, just any other dragon paling in comparison to her. Then you got that shot where Luke is flying off on his dragon, then overhead in the clouds is to see that gigantic silhouette of Vagar flying over, and it was just really cool visually, and him trying to escape. It was a kind of a cool sequence, not like a super long battle that they had. It's really just a chase, but I love that visuals too of just Luke flying up really, really high above the clouds, and you see the sunshine, and he's not out of the woods yet. And then the way just Vagar instantly just snaps out and just chomps up Luke and his dragon. I knew that's how it went down, but it played out a little differently, which I knew kind of caused some complaints from the diehard fans of being changed a little bit, where it sent more like an accident where Aemon and Luke couldn't control the dragons. The dragons were acting on their own against each other, but I was fine with it. It doesn't make Aemon out to be a completely psychopath and someone who would kill his family, because he was like he didn't want Vagar to do that. No, and probably knowing because of the consequences that's going to lead to, obviously, being the civil war that's going to come out of this, really causing the blacks to make their move on the greens, because of, obviously, they're not going to know it was an accident or anything like that, but they just know someone from Allison's family killed one of theirs, and they're going to have to get resolution for that. So, but regardless of the change, I thought that scene was played out beautifully, and then just moving into the moment where Rhaenyra finds out, where Daemon tells her, there's no dialogue or anything, it's just the music. You just get that shot of her with her back turned. You can kind of see her like slump from the shock of hearing that news, and then just she turns around in her face. It's like almost like a changed person now, where she doesn't say it, but you just think it in his hair, like this means war type. She had that type of look on her face. So yeah, I thought it was great. Just a very cool sequence to cap off what I felt was an almost perfect first season for a new series. Based off an already iconic series with Game of Thrones. I thought they just did a phenomenal job with this first season and setting up the story, laying out the characters, kind of like all the pieces are on the board now. Now they're going to be moving and doing battle with each other over the course of these next seasons. So I loved it. I thought it was great. And just an awesome way to cap off what was a really, really awesome first season.
Yeah, like I really like the sort of change there at the end, where it's, because it seemed like Rhaenyra was on track to be a good queen.
Yeah.
I mean, not, like a diplomatic queen at the very least, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, because everyone was pushing her to attack into war, but she was reluctant.
She was like, no, yeah, because she's like she learned from her father. It seemed like she was going to be a good queen, but then this happened. Her Luke died, and it's like that sort of switch, and now she's going to be she's going to be a war queen, I guess you could say, right? And I'm just wondering, like, how did it go down in the books? Because I sort of saw the same thing, where it's like, yeah, but they changed it. So like, I totally forget his name.
Aemon Targaryen.
Yeah, the one with the eye patch.
Yeah, it's Aemon.
Yeah, Aemon. He tells Vagar to intentionally kill Luke.
Yeah, that was pretty much his intention right after he left Storm's End. He was going to take him out in the books, and this one, it was just kind of like taunting and tormenting him, like to scare him off with no intention to kill. But obviously the possibility was always there, but that wasn't his intention. But in the book, it was more so like, yeah, I'm going to take you out right now.
I see. Yeah, because that's the one knock I'll give on this final episode. I was like, as soon as Luke arrived at Storm's End, I was like, yeah, that he is dead.
Yeah.
He is. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but he is gonna die. That's my one little knock, because I could see that coming from a mile away. But yeah, like I guess it was supposed to be that way, because like he does die in the books or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my one knock against House of the Dragon. My other knock is it looks cool to see the dragons flying around, like you said, and fighting, but it's when they do the close-up of the rider. And I feel like all of the Star Wars shows have the same problem too, where it's like they're trying to like lean left and then we're leaning right all of a sudden, and then we're going back, and we're going forward, and then we're going, you could tell they're sitting on a barrel.
Yeah, and
You know?
looking at nothing.
Yeah, looking at nothing. It doesn't quite sync up the correct way, but the Star Wars show have the same problem with when they're riding speeders and stuff. But yeah, overall, I really liked the show, especially the end with Rhaenyra. I mean, what a performance right there in that one scene where she sort of crumples, but she catches herself, and then she slowly turns around, and you see that look of like revenge. She wants revenge really, really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah. Overall, I really loved House of the Dragon.
It's gonna be interesting to see if they change anything with how they get payback for that, because how it goes down in the books is pretty brutal. So I'm curious if there'll be any changes as far as who, I guess, orchestrates the whole thing of what happens. But
yeah, I'm gonna say don't tell me on that, Tim. Yeah, don't tell me.
Okay.
My prediction is, unfortunately, Alicent's daughter.
I shall remain silent. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So can't wait for season 2, which unfortunately is going to be probably 2 years away from what I'm hearing, because they haven't really started filming or anything, as far as I know, yet for season 2. And as far as how high the production quality is on the show, you can't do that really quick. So I'm kind of preparing myself for our 2024 to get season 2, but hopefully maybe a late 2023, but we'll see. But we're down to one more show now for the rest of the year, at least for me anyway, because I don't think there's any other shows going on right now that I'm going to be intently invested in than the ones we've been talking about the last few episodes. I wish I could say that about Titans. I know that just started season 4. I haven't watched the first 2 episodes yet, but that season 3 was such a disappointment for me that I'm not in a rush to start watching this new season. I'll check it out eventually, but yeah, I'm just more invested in the shows we were getting right now. So that just leaves Andor, which it's hard to believe, Dane. Now we're only about 3 episodes left, because when you hear about 12 episodes, oh man, this is the longest Disney Plus Star Wars shows we've got, and the Marvel shows that we got. Yeah, this is gonna last us a while. And they premiered with the first 3, so that obviously shortened the weeks down to how many weeks we're gonna have with new Andor. But still, it's kind of hard to believe we're just down to 3. But you are now caught up on it, and before moving on to the last few episodes, I got to hear your reaction to what you thought of the ending for the second arc, the Aldani arc, we'll call it.
Sort of expected it to happen. What I really liked was I am bad at the names, so like just excuse me.
Yeah,
on that,
I'm still not that great
part.
either with it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of ancillary characters that
that
really just are there and then they die, right?
Yeah.
And
plus, we're watching a lot of TV shows right now, so
yeah,
a lot of characters.
I really liked just the cherry on the cake, right? Is that scene where Andor and that one guy are talking while that other guy is getting surgery.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I'm sort of a rebel against everybody else, sort of like it's a me against the world sort of thing. And, how does 40 million credits sound? Because they got 80 million credits and they're going to split it halfway and lie low, I guess, or that's the guy's plan. And it actually made me jump. It was like a jump scare for me when Andor pulls out his blaster and shoots him. I did not expect that.
Same here.
But again, this is more of an adult show. And yeah, like I didn't expect that. That was like the perfect topping for that whole arc. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know they were gonna leave that other woman behind, Vel's girlfriend.
Mhm.
I didn't think they were gonna leave her behind. And, uh, like I was like, okay, so she's gonna die then. But then no, you see her walk out of the uh, the compound there. Another thing too, the last time we were talking about talking about this arc was, I thought they were going to steal a payroll ledger. I didn't think they were going to steal the payroll,
Actual
the
credits.
actual physical credit payroll. I thought they were going to steal like a ledger, and then they're loading all these credits into the or these gold bars. It looks like these mini gold bars into the barge ship. Um, but yeah, I totally love the storyline. I'm sure people had problems with it, but like I totally enjoyed it from beginning to end. Um, and then jumping on to the next storyline, Tim, I got circused. Let's say I did not expect.
Well,
I did
you're not
not
alone, Dane.
expect
I
to
didn't know he was in
see.
the show as well. That was an awesome surprise to see him pop up on the
Yeah,
screen.
it didn't leak or anything. It didn't come
No,
out that any circus.
maybe I
Okay.
just stayed away from it, but I didn't see
Yeah,
anything about Andy Serkis being in the show.
but it's a great cameo because like I don't think
Well,
people
see,
were
it's more than a
expecting that.
cameo. It's a full blown role for this arc.
Yeah, right. It's a full blown role. But it's a great sneaky way to get him in there.
Yeah.
Um, so like, are people complaining that oh no, he played he can't play two Star Wars characters?
Yeah, I'm staying away from all that stuff, so I haven't seen anything about that. But I bet these are speculation. Could this actually be the origin of Snoke? Is this Snoke? But it's like, I don't think so. But
No, I don't think so.
he's one of the rare actors to play two different roles in Star Wars. I'm trying to think who else is there besides some like minor voiceovers that Mark Hamill has done for some
Yeah,
side characters. But yeah, he was just great to see him back in Star Wars. That's another role, but the role he's playing is great too, especially in the last episode where he just does a 180. And I just love how it's someone, obviously he's been in that Imperial prison for a long time. He's so close
yeah,
to getting out. He doesn't want anything to mess that up. He's just so close. So he tells Andor to like stop asking him questions about how many guards there are and try to think of any ways about escaping. But then as soon as that moment hits where they find out they pretty much killed everyone, I think it was level 2, and
yeah,
how the reason for that, which is when your term is up, you don't get released. You just go to another level and you try to keep it hushed. But then when people started talking about it, that's why they killed everyone at level 2. So then when he realized, oh crap, I'm here forever, and just immediately that ending for this last episode, I loved it. Where Andor or Cassie just casually asked him, because he kept asking him throughout the episode, how many guards is there on these levels? How many guards? And Kino is his name, Andy Serkis' character, just like doesn't want to hear it. And then as soon as they're walking out, as their inmate dies, they don't say anything. Cassie just asks, so how many prison guards are there? And without hesitation, Andy Serkis' character Kino just goes, no more than 12. Just like you knew that he's all in now for trying to what's going to be an epic prison escape, I think, in the next episode. So I just love just in these
yeah.
2 episodes, this character arc that Andy Serkis had on this one.
Also, a great twist. I mean, there's a big plot hole in it, right? Like, why wouldn't the prisoner that got released and then was brought back just tell everybody that,
Well, I think that's
oh,
what
they're not
happened, though.
releasing anybody? Yeah, but they've done it before, right?
Mm.
Or is it because of the emperor's new legislation
Yeah, not
that
sure
they
on
are being released and then coming back?
maybe.
Yeah.
They
But
can't have
yeah,
other
so
ways to keep him quiet, maybe, for anyone that would
yeah,
dare talk about it.
yeah, the electric floor. I totally love the gimmick of the electric floor or
Yeah.
whatever you were calling it. It's so great, and yeah, such a great twist on like on the story, which could just be a regular plain old I'm in prison story, which I was sort of expecting going into it. I was like, oh no, we're gonna have we're gonna have Andor, like in a prison, and it's gonna be the same thing over and over again. But I really like the twist of how like they're doubling everybody's prison sentences, and then they're just recycling them back into a different level.
Yeah.
Such a great twist. But
A couple of fun
one
facts,
thing,
Dane. Did you know
yeah, sure.
the old man, the inmate who dies at the end with the stroke? Do you
Ooh,
know
yeah.
the actor playing him is the guy from the first Batman movie who in the very beginning, the gunman who were Batman just asked him, "I'm Batman," or he goes, "Who are you?" That's the same guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I gotta watch.
Yeah, it's like
I
you don't
have to
notice
watch
it, but once you do
Batman
know, you
8
go,
right
okay,
now.
yeah, he definitely looks like that same actor.
Yeah, right.
And then
And
also too,
yeah.
the other inmate, one of that's part of Aunt Cassian's crew in the prison is Melchi from Rogue One, one of the rebel soldiers on Scarif, pretty much like a second in command in that battle, the one who has to find the master switch.
Ah, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so that was cool to put
I
him in there, just
I
kind of showing how obviously him and Cassian are gonna make it out and stick around a little bit and end up in the Rebel Alliance. But it's kind of cool to show how someone from Rogue One and Cassian kind of met in this circumstance. So it's kind of cool to add him in there, I thought.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I heard his name, I was watching the episode, like, oh, Melshi, yeah, I remember that name from Rogue One. I know exactly who that is, which is cool.
Ah, I see. Um, what was I gonna say? Um, oh, one of the most chilling and sinister scenes in all of Star Wars, I'd say, is Bix being tortured.
Yeah.
Not so much like, I mean, like just how they played it, where it's like everything goes quiet, and then all of a sudden she starts screaming, and then they cut to the door closing, and then they cut to that drill or whatever going. Not only that, but also the story behind it
Yeah, it's
that the
messed up.
doctor's explaining
And how
is
about
they wanted to build a fuel depot or something, and then um, the indigenous people of the planet didn't want that to happen, and so the Empire had to genocide them, and then they
record
distilled,
it? Yeah.
they recorded the pleas and the dying of children. They isolated it.
What
Yeah,
also made it horrible too, or just add to that chill factor, is how casual and like friendly the doctor was coming off too about it. Because
yeah,
there's that moment where Deidre, the ISB agent, introduces the doctor, and the doctor's gives a friendly go like, "Hello." This kind of like, "Yeah, pleased to meet you," type of response. Just like he was playing up as like a really friendly person doing a terribly messed up thing.
yeah,
So just that just adds to the twisted and the evilness of the Empire here.
yeah. Just the whole story where it's like, they genocided this whole indigenous peoples of this planet, and then they isolated the screams of the children. I mean, that's that's horrifying.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is like it's somebody just telling you about it, and they're not showing it, right? It's just somebody in a room calmly telling you about it, and then Bix has her reaction to it, and then they cut away from it, and it's done. I this show is this show is brilliant, Tim. I hate to say it, but it's brilliant.
Why would you
It's
hate to say
brilliant.
that? You enjoyed it. We should love that you're saying
Uh,
that. It's brilliant.
because I, I know people really like The Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all these other different
Well,
shows.
you'd be surprised saying
Obi-Wan.
that. You'd be surprised of how much or how much praise the show is getting over those ones. Really.
Yeah, I am so happy to hear that because uh, I hope as Star Wars fans, I know it's not your conventional story about like the hero and the lightsaber and the you know rescuing the girl, right? I know it's not really that. I hope you Star Wars fans know how brilliant this show is, and it sounds like you guys do,
Yeah, and it's like what's great is
and
just
how
how different
unique
it
it
is, and
is.
just yeah,
Yeah,
and it's great that we have this variety of Star Wars shows to get. That's why I get
right.
annoyed when people on both sides of the extreme where they're saying, "Oh, with Andor, it's brilliant. This is how Star Wars needs to be going forward." It's like, no, it doesn't need to be that. And then on the
No,
other
no,
side,
no.
saying, "Oh, like this is nothing. It doesn't have the excitement or of the Mandalorian or the action." It's like, no, but it doesn't need that. It's telling its own different story. It's like it's so awesome that we have this variety of stuff to choose from, and whenever you're in the mood for the type of story you want to experience in the Star Wars universe, you have the options there. So it's like
Yeah,
I said it before. I said on the Sonic Tease podcast, just embrace the variety that we're getting right now. Don't go to the extremes one way or the other if you're loving it or hating it for the type of show it is.
yeah. Star Wars should not follow this formula. It shouldn't change itself to become what the Andor show is, right?
Mm. No,
Um,
exactly.
but the variety is so great. You know, you have Obi-Wan, you have Boba Fett, you have Mandalorian, and you have Andor. But you know, I'm so glad that you Star Wars fans sort of recognize that this is a brilliant show, and it's like it's a great show. And I'm just glad that you guys recognize that. Um, because like I I wish they would apply this to like their Marvel stuff, where it's like I don't really have that connection to any of the Marvel characters. I wish they would have sort of like take this formula and sort of put it into the Marvel universe
Mm.
so that I could have like some kind of connection to the Marvel universe. But um, again, it's like the variety of shows that you Star Wars fans have. Like, I hope you guys appreciate it. You guys are just totally hating on it.
Well, obviously that comes with the territory, but
Yeah, yeah. But this prison storyline, I was like, like why is he going to prison? He should be with the rebels right now. He should be like zipping around and stealing money and ship parts and all that sort of stuff. But it's so great that it went against my expectation. Where it's like, I mean, it's like a really small thing, but like going against my expectation of like him going Andor going around, like I said, with the rebellion and doing all this different sort of stuff. Um, yeah, it goes against my expectation, and um, again, I think there's going to be a season 2 of Andor,
oh,
right?
it's confirmed. Yeah, it's been set out as a
Oh,
two-season
okay,
series, so the second
okay, I
season will
wasn't
be it.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I wasn't sure if there was going to be a second
Yeah, so
season,
if it's
but
like if it ends
um,
on like an ambiguous note or doesn't have like a satisfying conclusion, like don't worry, the season 2 is coming. So
yeah, right,
it's supposed to lead
yeah,
right into Rogue One.
yeah, and it like I said, it was going against my expectation of what I thought the show was going to be, and then you have like you have the ability to tell the story of like um, the rebel alliance. I mean, it's barely an alliance at this
Oh yeah,
point.
I love the
Um,
stuff we're getting with Mon Mothma too. Just showing what she
yeah,
has to deal with at this stage of trying to keep the rebellion afloat, and just the secrecy she has to do amongst her family, which I didn't even know going into the series that she'd have a husband, a daughter, a cousin
yeah,
who's working with the rebels. So all that stuff is just great to be getting this insight into that we've never known before.
yeah, right. The Mon Mothma stuff is good. Like she can't get her hands on her money, her inheritance or whatever. So she has to sort of start like a fake charity, and like go through that. And like again, the problem is like we said in the last time we reviewed the Andor series is the rebel quote unquote alliance, because like I said, it's barely an alliance, needs money now. They need stuff now, and she can't do that because of the imperial auditors. Like who would have thought that in a Star Wars show we'd be talking about finance auditors, right? Right? I
Oh,
mean,
man.
it's
That is true.
but it's true. Yeah, it's true. It's like who thought we would be talking about finance auditors and moving money around and fake charities and funneling money into charities and sort of like all that sort of stuff. And like I was saying before that, like putting Andor in prison was sort of brilliant because it allows you to tell these other stories about like how especially with the Saw scene, wow, that
Yeah.
was really intense. That
Yep.
that was crazy.
And I love
Saw
how he was
is
mentioning all these different rebel factions, like even the Separatists and these
sure,
other factions that obviously, like you said, they're not the Rebel Alliance yet. They're just all scattered apart trying to do their own separate thing against the Empire. And yeah, it
and
was just,
it makes Saw more of an interesting character, even though he's in it for like 3 minutes
yeah,
or whatever.
I know.
You know, it totally adds to the world building, and it's like, you know, Saw is an extremist, and you know why, because you've watched the Clone Wars episodes, right?
Yep.
Um, and you could tell why he doesn't get along with all of the other rebel factions. And it again, the key word is factions, right? Because it's very factional. You know, it's like high school, and like a lot of these people,
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
they do not have any sort of any any sort of cohesion. It seems like all they agree on is they don't like the Empire, right? And you could tell because I forget the character's name, Tim. Uh, Saul and the guy he's talking to.
Luthen.
Yeah, Luthen, right? Saul and Luthen don't trust each other because Saul was asking Luthen about like, oh, was that you on Aldani? He's
Yeah.
like, no, I think that might have been you. You know, like they totally don't trust each other.
Yeah.
But Luthen needs Saul's help to do this other job, right? And it's so weird because like you think of like the original trilogy and like it's all smooth and it's all clean. It's everybody's fighting against the Empire and that's it, right? But then you add all
Yes,
this
it's like
multi-layering into it,
the good guys and bad guys are easily defined in the original trilogy, just
right?
looking at through those movies. But that's what I love about Rogue One, is how just a little bit of time we got there, just how it's not so black and white with
Yeah,
especially with the rebels.
yeah, and like this show just sort of builds on that, and
Yep.
to me that's like the most interesting part of the story, really, is the sort of factionalism of the rebel groups because they are like again like just the concept of the rebel groups, the different rebel groups. Like, no, he is. I don't like him. He's only out for himself. He does this or that or the other thing, and just that one little conversation between Luthen and Saul, so sort of like just made it very very clear to me that these people like have this big overarching goal, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. Um, but they are so divided. They are so divided. And the Mon Mothma scenes where she's trying to get her money are great too. But the brilliant part is her, and it's made to be this way. But the boring scenes of Mon Mothma trying to do legislation in the Senate room, right?
Mhm.
In the Senate chamber. She's trying to, these people really need help and nobody's listening to her. Nobody cares. You hear them talking
You could
back and
see the
forth.
difference between the Republic Senate and the Imperial Senate, which
Sure.
I love. I love that we're getting Senate scenes during the
Yeah.
Empire.
You can see them walking. People walk away
Yep.
during her speech and are distracted and nobody's listening to her. And those scenes are so brilliant at how at showing how useless the Senate is at this point. And again, pretty soon after this, the Emperor is going to disband the Senate. So, yeah, you could tell it's just people talking. Like there's no real legislation going on, and I mean, Mon Mothma was saying like, oh, the Emperor is overreaching on his power, or I'm trying to prevent the Emperor from overreaching on his power with his powers, right? With the is it called like the PORD program or something?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah, it's like an acronym. She's trying to prevent this, but it's pretty clear that the Emperor is in total authoritarian control of the
yeah.
of the entire government, and it's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. Where she has to, go and do this and show up and at least try, and then you have this other storyline with her where she's trying to get her money to the Rebel Alliance, and even the Rebel Alliance isn't even agreeing. So it seems like a hopeless endeavor, So yeah, I've gone on long enough. Sorry.
No.
I apologize, but this is my favorite show on television. Probably my favorite show that I've seen in a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I just love getting the insight into the Rebels and Empire that we never gotten before. And yeah, maybe it could be slow, and if you're not interested in that stuff, it could be a slow burn for you. But I'm eating all this stuff up, getting this insight and just building on what we already know, and it's doing a great job of that. And just can't wait to see where it leads to the end of the season, and just what is going to be kind of the moment where Cassian goes full in with the rebellion. Because I thought it was going to be after the mission in Aldhani that something would happen there, but nope. And obviously in the trailers, I knew he was going to go to prison. And after that, seeing that arc, I thought, oh, this is probably going to be his actions on Aldhani caught up with him, and he gets thrown into the prison. But at first, I don't know how I felt about it, but I think it was actually kind of a brilliant move where he goes into prison for something totally non-related, and he didn't do anything to warrant going to prison. Again, just showing the tyrannical rule of the Empire, where they're just trying to find any little thing that they can pin on you to throw you in prison. And it's for 6 years too, for not even doing anything, and just accusing him of running with these other people that were trying to make their escape on that vacation planet that he was on there. So, and I'm wondering if what stuff that's going to happen in prison is going to, like, how's he going to get back with Luthen, and where is the story going to lead after that, where he really joins the Rebel Alliance? Where I think if I were to guess right now, it's probably not going to be until the season finale, where maybe that's how the season ends, where it's like, yeah, I'm full on board now. And then we'll see him actually part of the Rebels in season 2. And as I said, season 2, from what I've heard, there's supposed to be some pretty big time jumps in there to get to the point where the last episode will lead into Rogue One. So there might be a few year time jumps by the time we get to season 2. So it's definitely going to be interesting and fascinating to watch. But yeah, Cassian has been or I should say Andor has been such a unique Star Wars TV show, and I'm eating it all up. So like I said before, kind of hard to believe it's only down to 3 episodes, but at the same time, I can't wait to see these next 3 episodes and how it's all going to wrap up in this first season.
You brought something up in my head, Tim, about like how they're going to conclude this first season. I don't know, because Luthen wants to kill Andor.
Yeah.
Just a small little thing. He wants to kill Andor. And he sent Vel after him. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that switch is going to happen.
Maybe it's going to, Andor's going to have to take Luthen out. And maybe that's going to play a factor in him joining the Rebel Alliance. Kind of not taking his place, but I don't know, just doing something where he has to take him out, but at the same time for the cause of the Rebels. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be some very fascinating and character study as far as what makes Andor fully join the Rebels.
Wow, I didn't think of that.
Because I'm not banking on Luthen surviving the season and making it into season 2.
I don't know. I didn't expect Vel to live.
So yeah, that's true. I expected no survivors from that mission. So the fact that Val and Cinta both survived, so that was unexpected as well. So, but because Luthen, he has to get taken out at some point, I believe, because he's such a big player in these different Rebel factions, and the fact that he wouldn't be involved with the Rebel Alliance by the time we get to Rogue One, and even in that episode of Star Wars Rebels where they all come together. Obviously, he was a character that wasn't created back then, but I think it's going to be something where it's because he's not alive, not where he walks away from the cause or something like that. Because I think in order for him to not be involved at all, he'd have to be dead. Because he seems like a type of person who's so determined that even if he wasn't part of the Rebel Alliance, he'd be doing things on his own against the Empire still. So I think he's not going to make it very far.
The rebel groups, the different rebel factions, are mafia families,
Almost. Yeah.
right? Wow, I just came upon that sort of insight now.
Yeah, I never looked at it that way either, but you're kind of have a point.
Yeah. Huh. They're like mafia families or Yakuza clans. Wow, we should talk more, Tim.
Well, I'm sure the next 3 episodes are going to give us plenty more to talk about and
Yeah.
see things in totally new lights.
Yeah. But just seeing Saul is so fantastic. He's one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars.
Yeah, he's great. Just getting his sometimes extreme viewpoints on the galaxy. And
Yeah.
like you said, it's a lot better when you've seen the Clone Wars and how it all began for him.
Yeah. Also, my one wish. Sorry, Tim. My one wish for the Andor show. I know they've already filmed it, but please don't kill off Andy Serkis. Please.
I know, it's especially now where it's like he's determined to get out of there. You kind of want to see his character get that happy ending, at least to get out of prison.
He's not, Tim. He's not going to make it out of prison.
Yeah, I could see it totally where he sacrifices himself to have Cassian get out. I could totally see that happen.
The more Andy Serkis, the better. Yep. I'd say any franchise really. It's like, oh, Andy Serkis popped up in Pokemon. Why just I'm a Pokemon fan now? Yeah. Please don't kill off Andy Serkis, please.
And with his air. So I trust now, Dane, that you're not going to fall behind when each episode.
No. No. Yeah, no way. It's getting too intense for me.
Right. It's hard just to wait. It's hard enough to wait a week.
Yeah, it's getting too like, I don't know, not thrilling. Tension building, I guess you could say. Please, please just don't kill off Andy Serkis. That's all I'm asking.
Find out next week.
You can break the canon and, I don't know, kill off Mon Mothma somehow. You can break that canon right into a billion pieces, just as long as Andy Serkis survives.
We'll see if your wish come true.
Yeah.
I got to ask you too, Dave, before we move off from Star Wars TV. Have you watched Tales of the Jedi yet?
No, I haven't, Tim. It looks amazing.
It is amazing.
Posted that.
I can confirm.
You posted that screenshot of Rex. And yeah, that looked really good.
Yeah, I'll just say this: it did an amazing job exploring Count Dooku's character, where you just kind of look at him in a new light. So.
Have you read the Dooku book?
No, I haven't. I kind of heard mixed things on it, to be honest.
I really enjoyed it, especially if you buy the audio book version.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I kind of heard too that certain things that happen in Tales of the Jedi kind of makes the canon a little murky as far as how things play out.
I see.
But
yeah, I don't care about that. I'm not a big stickler on canon.
Yeah. It's good not to be too obsessed with that. I mean, you like it all to match up, but certain things, if they don't match up perfectly, you can't get too bent out over that.
Yeah. Have they released the Ahsoka one yet?
Oh, they released all episodes. It was just 6.
Okay.
So they released them all in one day. Okay. They're all there.
I see. And how's the Ahsoka one?
Those are great too. I mean,
okay.
But the Dooku ones are the best. They're my favorite. Just because they just explored new territory with the character that I just loved and found fascinating.
Wow. And Rex has his own episode.
He's just part of one of the Ahsoka episodes. There's there's 6 shorts total, 3 about Ahsoka, 3 about Dooku.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I gotta get on that, Tim.
definitely check it out.
Yeah.
You won't be disappointed. And it'll just probably take like a little over an hour to watch all of them. It'll make for a nice, kind of like a Clone Wars movie.
Oh, they're really, really short.
Yeah, the longest one's like
Okay.
20 minutes. That's the first one. The rest are kind of in between 10 to 15 minutes.
I don't know if I like that, Tim.
You wish they were longer, but they actually all have a great flow. They don't feel too short.
Oh, okay.
They're paced really well.
Okay. So they're kind of like the I forget the name of them, but the Star Wars anime one.
Oh, Visions, a little bit, yeah. Definitely more of a cohesive story though throughout it, but how the length of them is similar to that, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, check that out and definitely let me know what you think because I'm pretty confident that you're gonna love it.
Okay, we'll see. I'll be extremely critical. To the point of, you know what? I don't like that Ahsoka's lightsaber hangs on the side of her hip, but it's not high up enough, so the whole series sucks.
Then there might be one episode you have a problem with then.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. In fact, never mind. If that's going to be your hang-up, don't watch the series. You're not going. All right. So yeah, that's our TV show recap discussion. Sadly, we just got Andor left. So by the time we record our next episode, we'll probably be on the penultimate one of Andor. So we'll probably have 2 more episodes talking about Andor. So that's good.
I don't know, Tim. I don't know. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should stop watching Andor and wait till all of the episodes are out?
Nah.
Or should I just go week to week?
Go week to week.
Okay.
How are you going to make it those next 3 weeks or not
Yeah,
knowing what
right.
happens to Andy Serkis? I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. I can't do it. Tim.
I know I can. So.
Yeah, especially now that there's nothing to watch. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least for us too.
Yeah. All right. So actually, there's some big DC Warner Brothers news to talk about, which was really surprising when it broke about a week ago, where as soon as the Warner Brothers Discovery merger happened, they were one of the priorities was to look for head of DC films, and there was someone who was supposedly in the running. That didn't work out, but now it's officially confirmed that James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to be the leaders of DC Studios. No longer is it DC Films. It's going to be called DC Studios now. It's kind of similar to Marvel Studios. But so yeah, James Gunn, obviously he's the one making the headlines, being mostly associated with Marvel, creating Guardians or directing Guardians of the Galaxy, moving over to that whole ordeal with him getting fired from Volume 3, then rehired. But in between then, he had to do, or not had to do, but one DC got him, and he wanted to make the Suicide Squad, the Peacemaker TV show. So he's had his hands in both comic book studios with Marvel and DC, but now he is going to be only on the DC side as head of DC Studios. So I believe it was reported that obviously he's going to be with Peter Safran. James Gunn is going to kind of oversee the development and production of these projects, while Peter Safran is going to be the big picture kind of role for the studio as a producer. So, but definitely surprising. Thinking about names and hearing people's ideas and suggestions of probably who should run DC, I don't think James Gunn was someone who was on that list. But I'm excited for it because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of my favorite franchises in the MCU. In there, I think James Gunn did a brilliant job bringing those obscure characters to the big screen and making them kind of household names now. And then what he did with the Suicide Squad, I know that's had a positive reaction amongst DC fans, but amongst casual fans, I've heard more mixed things about it. So, but I did like what he did with the characters there. So I just like how they're getting someone to be in charge of it who's more on the creative side, along with someone who's more on like the business side of things with Peter Safran. So I'm excited about the potential that can have with you have someone who knows what it's like to make these movies, who's been a part of building a universe with the MCU, to have someone with that experience part of DC now. And just probably what he's learned from Kevin Feige being in charge of Marvel Studios. We know James Gunn has worked closely with him on developing the Guardians and even have an input with the Guardians' role in the Avengers movies. So he has that knowledge of how to build a successful universe. So I'm all excited about that. But here's the thing. We've gotten these announcements before with people being in charge of DC. They get a few films done and they don't do good, and then things change and they don't see their vision through. We've obviously heard there's been quotes from the new head of Warner Brothers Discovery saying he's excited about the vision that James Gunn and Peter Safran have. They got a good foundation of where things to go. We've heard that before too. So it's like, I want to be excited, but until they have the chance and opportunity to build this thing, and where a movie doesn't do good and then they have to restart all over, get new people involved, it's like, I just hope they have a chance to see their vision through over these next few years, because we haven't seen that at all with the DC movies. So regardless if they're going to build a universe or not, just have a creative force who's ahead of these projects to see their vision through and how they want. That's all I'm kind of hoping for right now. We'll worry about the other stuff and building universes once the movies they're actually developing get off the ground. But things are looking positive at this front. I mean, I love how, obviously we talked about last time with Henry Cavill officially being back as Superman in his appearance as Black Adam. He sent out a video after that saying he is back for more projects. And it was just announced how he's not going to be involved with season 4 of The Witcher, which makes you believe that it's because kind of priority now is going to be developing Superman films and just being involved as Superman. And I like the fact that from all that they're saying, they want Superman to be the face of this new DC universe and to build off that, which is how it always should have been. The main character of the DC universe should be the guy to build a universe off of. And the fact that it's a shame that it had to take this long to realize that, but it's good that now you got some creative forces like James Gunn who realize that and want to build this universe around Superman with Henry Cavill back. So definitely excited about it. It's just, again, I got to temper that excitement because I've been excited about other things and potential projects for DC movies in the past, and we know how that turned out. So I'm just hoping this is it now. You got your leaders in place, now let them do their thing and create this new era of DC movies. So we shall see how it goes. But right now, I'm excited about the choices they picked to lead DC movies right now.
Yeah. Good. They finally got somebody with a name, to helm this. I don't know what to call it, Tim. It's not
this new era of DC really. Films, yes.
New era of DC films. Wow, really rolls off the tongue with the MCU.
Well, it's technically, I mean, like I said, it's called DC Studios now, so they might be calling it the DCU. No more DC Extended U or DCEU. It's just DCU.
Yeah, I'm just curious how he's gonna roll up all of these different universes and stuff, into one cohesive thing. If that's what he's gonna do.
Exactly, we don't even know that. Yeah.
How? I mean, we know they're gonna film Joker 2, right? With Lady Gaga. Like,
and obviously the Batman 2, that's gonna be in production.
Right, the Batman 2. How is that all gonna work into, I don't know, any sort of semblance, right?
Yeah, maybe, like I said, maybe they're not even going to be concerned about right now. You have this one corner that's just doing their own thing, and they'll have another corner that is building a universe.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, we've seen it go wrong many a time, Tim.
Yeah.
Is your brother still holding out hope for that Green Lantern movie, Tim?
I'm glad you brought up Green Lantern, because I want to talk about Green Lantern, if I may. Oh. Because, that HBO Max show that was been announced for a few years now, you haven't heard any updates on that for a while until about a week ago, where because before it was a very ambitious project. They even said it's going to be like one of the most expensive TV shows ever made, one of the most expensive shows on HBO Max, which good. Green Lantern deserves that. But it was supposed to take place over the course of different eras where it was going to focus on different Green Lanterns, like Alan Scott, Jessica Cruz. I believe Sam Baez was a part of that. Guy Gardner also. So it was a story that's going to take place amongst different periods in time. Very ambitious. It sounded cool. And to me, the kind of a different and unique way to do that, because there are a bunch of different Earth Green Lanterns you can focus that on. But now that's been scrapped. That is not happening anymore. So, but we are still getting a Green Lantern show. It's just going to be focused on one Green Lantern now, and it's going to be Jon Stewart, which a part of me goes, that might be the best case to go to kick off a Green Lantern show, because again, what they had planned sounded really ambitious and maybe kind of hard to pull off for your first go around, but maybe you can make the argument they're just playing a little safe. But at the same time, obviously I just want a live action Green Lantern interpretation to be done well and to be received well. And if that means just focusing on one character like Jon Stewart, I mean, I'm on board for that. Let's just get a singular story you want to tell with a Green Lantern and maybe build into having other ones join in amongst the core. Okay, that would be great. So kind of a little bummed that we're not going to get all those that Green Lantern show that was originally announced, but still glad they have a more focused approach now and focusing on Jon Stewart as the Green Lantern. So I just hope it gets off the ground and it's something that they sees the light of day. Because me and Green Lantern, he's been so underused. It's just so disappointing. And we just had that. I just watched the new animated movie Green Lantern Beware My Power, which actually focused on Jon Stewart, and that was even a disappointing outing for me. I was hopeful that would be a good one because, like I said, it's been a while since we had the Green Lantern movie animated as well. But to me, it was supposed to focus on Jon Stewart, but he almost felt like an afterthought or not the main character. And what they did to Hal Jordan, I wasn't a fan of, because they tried to do a condensed version of Parallax, of him becoming bad with the Parallax entity inside him, but it felt way too rushed. And the way he was defeated was very anticlimactic, because it's like he gets control of all these Green Lantern rings. He becomes full of the Green Lantern energy. He becomes just almost like this godlike being, but he gets taken out so easily by Jon Stewart with just one power ring, where Hal Jordan has like 10 of them, one for each finger. So that was a little underwhelming. But again, the focus didn't seem to be on, it was in the beginning a little bit, which I enjoyed the kind of the first aspects of that movie before Jon Stewart got the ring, because you kind of dove into his past and kind of some of his post-traumatic stress he has as a war veteran, which I wish they would have dove into more. They kind of did a little bit at the end, but it just felt tacked on. It just wasn't developed well enough. So that was a little disappointing to see. But again, I'm just glad that a Green Lantern live action project is still on the table. It seems to be in production, and hopefully they got focused and settled on the direction they want to go, just focusing on Jon Stewart, and let's go make it now. Let's get the series into production, because until I see it on my screen, I'm not going to be convinced that it's actually happening, even if it gets into production. Because we all know what happened with Batgirl. I'm sorry to say that's how I feel now, but because of the cancellation of that, you cannot be 100% confident even when cameras are rolling. So yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about Green Lantern, because he has been in the news lately as far as some of the projects that's being developed. Not for the movies anyway, but for TV show.
Well, Tim, this goes for you and your brother, because again, your brother is a big Green Lantern fan.
He's almost lost all hope in Green Lantern stuff.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, that's a great statement, what you said right there. And I want you to remember that, because I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Green Lantern is the Oakland A's of the DC universe, right?
I think you're right. They even got the same color scheme too.
Technically, there's a chance, right? technically, but probably not, right? So the advice I'd give you and your brother is to A, bury your head in the sand, and B, cross your fingers and your toes
For extra measure.
for extra measure. I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't. Again, we had that show, we had that animated show, and none of them have seen the light of day, Tim.
Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm still not over the animated series getting canceled because that was so good.
So yeah. See, we do have something in common, Tim. You, your brother, and me, right? Like the Oakland A's of the DC universe.
Franchises with the color green, yeah, struggle. That's what our common ground is.
They're just struggling. Anyway,
I'll be
yeah.
one happy fan the day I see a live action Green Lantern on screen again.
Yeah. I'll be one happy fan when the Oakland A's make it to the postseason. I'd say.
I was going to say, what's more important for you? Because Oakland's made it to the postseason like last few, not recently, but not too distant future. Wouldn't the stadium be more important or more of a victory for you at this point?
You see, like,
because that seems
I'm
like
just
what
going.
the impossible goal is. It's like a live action Green Lantern is. I think Oakland getting a stadium is in that realm.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry, I take that back, Tim. I retract that statement, and I will say the Oakland A's getting that stadium, that's far off in the distance mirage of a stadium.
They should call it that if it gets opened, the Mirage Stadium.
Yeah, because I really don't. Look, I am going to say with full confidence the Green Lantern show is not going to happen. The Oakland A's are going to be moving to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You
see, maybe it's just me being hopeful when I shouldn't, but I think we are going to see the Green Lantern show at some point. It's probably going to be a ways off, but we'll see what happens first. Oakland getting a stadium with the Green Lantern series. I think it's a coin flip at this point because both I think are so far off in the distance.
Yeah, you're better off. You know what, Tim? I'm gonna go even crazier than you. Those D&D dice, the 20-sided die, you have a better chance of it landing on 21 than
I believe
than the Oakland A's or Green Lantern show happening.
You know what my hope is? My ultimate hope is for this new leadership with James Gunn, for charge of DC. I want to see a Justice League movie with a Green Lantern. That's all I want. That's all I hope for. Can I get that, please? You get your team up with the Justice League characters. I want Green Lantern to be a part of it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but wasn't Green Lantern in the Zack Snyder?
That's the other frustrating thing. He was supposed to be. They filmed a scene. They had an actor as Jon Stewart. They filmed it, but because they had other plans with Green Lantern, whether it was I think it might have been for the TV show, they didn't want him to use it. And that proved to be stupid because
they never used it.
Exactly. And it's going to be so far off by the time we do get that series, or, I mean, way hopeful, wishful thinking out there, another movie. Zack Snyder's Justice League's probably going to be almost 10 years old by the time that happens. So it doesn't matter if he filmed a shot. That's why he put Martian Manhunter in there, was to replace Green Lantern, which it would have made a whole lot more sense if it was Green Lantern.
That's who I was thinking of. It was Martian Manhunter. I thought it was Green Lantern, but
it should have been.
Yeah.
And his suit looked cool too. Zack Snyder posted some behind the scenes footage of, or just not footage, but actual pictures of it. It looked like a really great Green Lantern costume.
Do you remember the names of the chapters of Zack Snyder's Justice League?
No, I don't. There's one. I remember the first one, something to do with Batman. Batman was in there.
Yeah. I think like it had to have been a Batman part, but it was like beloved son and daughter or something.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm
I
looking it
can't.
up right now.
Like, I remember probably certain
Oh,
words from each
okay.
chapter, but
Don't count on it, Dad, man.
there you
That
go.
was
That's the first chapter. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking beloved mother, beloved son.
I think
Yeah.
there is another title or chapter that's titled with the naming of family members, isn't there?
A father twice over. It's the epilogue.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. And Don't count on it, Batman is the first. The Age of Heroes, beloved mother, beloved son.
There you go. That's
Change
the one.
Machine. Yeah. Change Machine. All the King's Horses, something darker. Then A Father Twice Over.
There you go.
Why did he put chapters in that?
Because it's over 4 hours and it's good to have some breaking
Uh,
points if you want to.
Yeah, you're right.
Which was a smart
right.
decision.
Ryan Reynolds was supposed to be in Justice League.
I don't think that was ever really confirmed or not.
No.
I would have loved to see him though. That would have been a great, great cameo.
Oh, okay, so I see it. The final scene was originally filmed with Jon Stewart / Green Lantern, portrayed by Wayne T. Carr, but Warner Brothers rejected the idea as they had other plans for the character.
Yeah, right.
Previous variations of the scene that were filmed included characters such as Kilowog with Jon Stewart, Kilowog with Tomar Ray, is it?
Yeah, that would have been cool to see. He's kind of like the bird-like Green Lantern.
And Stewart with Martian Manhunter. The first was not filmed as Snyder changed Kilowog to Martian Manhunter. The second being scrapped early in post-production back in 2017, and the third being filmed in August 2020. Oh, so Jon Stewart with Martian Manhunter was filmed.
Yeah, because I actually don't remember reading them together. I just thought it was Jon Stewart by himself, but then got replaced by Martian Manhunter. That's all what I remember.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well, I'm reading you this off of Wikipedia, so you're probably right, Tim, because I know. If I know one thing, Tim, if I know 4 things about you, Tim, or 5 things, whatever it is.
It keeps going
You're
up.
a Star Wars fan. You're a Star Wars fan. You're a Lord of the Rings fan. You're a Game of Thrones fan. And you're a Batman fan. And you are a Green Lantern fan.
A very desperate Green Lantern fan right now.
Yeah. Well, Tim, all I'll say is keep your toes, keep your fingers crossed.
Good advice coming from a fellow fan of a Green franchise.
Green franchise. Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, that's our big takeaway from James Gunn becoming the head of DC Film. Let's just get Green Lantern out there.
I don't think it's going to happen, but here's to hoping.
Yes, that's all we could do. Rebellions are built on hope.
Well, technically, yeah. I guess.
Technically. So yeah, I guess on that note, that will do it for this episode. So unless there's anything else, Dane, you want to mention, I can throw it to you for the outro.
Really excited for God of War Ragnarok coming out next week.
Well, that's right.
It would have been out before you've heard this, but yeah, I am excited for it. God of
I don't
War,
think you have to worry about you pre-ordering that one and being disappointed with the. But
no, well, it's getting amazing reviews.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best reviewed games of the year so far. So yeah,
I eventually got to play it. I haven't played any God of War games, but I wanted to play the new ones that have been out recently. So obviously, this one looks great.
Yeah.
The giant wolves look awesome.
Yeah,
like that alone makes me want to play it.
I have to reiterate. I have to say that I've only played the God of War remake, the 2018 one. So yeah, I haven't played any of the other ones. But yeah, God of War is one of my favorite. The 2018 one is one of my favorite video games. And this one, let me say, it's the way they ended the 2018 one was it made the wait very, very long.
I didn't realize it was that old, 2018. I was thinking like 2020 for some reason, but yeah, that is a long way.
Yeah. So like, do you care if I spoil it for you?
No, you can.
Okay, because I think it was in the trailer. So Thor is going to be in it.
Yeah,
Right.
a fat Thor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
how it was in Endgame.
And it's not going to be the Thor, the Marvel Thor, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be like closer to the actual Thor. And maybe I should, or you know what? I don't know. You tell me. Should I spoil the other one for you?
If you
The
don't
other
mind, it'll be a while before I play it, so I might forget.
Okay. Yeah. So you see, you know Atreus, right?
Yeah.
The kid.
Mm.
He's Loki.
Oh, really? That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a sort of like, I don't know if you want to call it a big reveal at the end, but like you go to the place of the giants and there's a big mosaic and there's him and he's Loki.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
So that would explain why Thor's probably in this one.
Yeah, and Atreus is supposed to kill Kratos.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, that should make this one pretty exciting and interesting to see unfold.
Yeah. And like I don't know if you've seen like Let's Plays from it, but they do it all in one take, right? So like you open up the game and then you jump in, and it's all what you can play one take to the end of the game.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's why I like the game, because like it's such a cool concept, like a small little concept, but yeah, especially like during the action scenes, like in God of War 2018, like you're fighting on the back of a dragon. It's really cool. But anyway, yeah, this is the game that I was most excited for this year. So
well,
only
I
a couple
definitely
more
want to play it
days.
eventually. Yeah.
Couple more days, Tim. It's gonna be a long couple days until I get to play it.
I know what you'll be doing the next few weeks.
Yeah, so don't bother me with anything, Tim, please.
Except you just got to make time to watch Andor on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. You know what sucks, Tim? God of War, Ragnarok, and Andor come out on the same day.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna suck. But I'll find room for Andor.
You got to. Yes.
But anyway, yeah, that's it from us. So go over to BatmanUniverse.net, Facebook.com/BatmanUniverse, Twitter handles at BatmanUniverse, shows Twitter handles at BatFans27, at BatFans Podcast, sorry.
Thinking of the old one going way back.
Old one. Tim's Twitter handles at BatFans Podcast. So, my God, what's wrong with me today, Tim?
You're just too excited to play God of War.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, let me get this straight, Tim. Tim's Twitter handle is at TimG311.
There you
go, Tim. There you go. That's official. My Twitter handle is at DaneSisBanana. Rate and reviews on iTunes. iTunes doesn't exist anymore. Rate and reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, still rate us on iTunes though.
Yeah, and if you want to email the show, you can email the show at batfans@gmail.com. So with that, like we say at the end of every single episode, 10.
We love each and every one of you with all of our desperate hopes for our green-colored franchises to succeed.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
See you next time, everyone.
Sunrise under Gotham, Crime Alley is a rich boy's tomb. There's a steaming cat, two faces of a coin. Scarecrows frightened of a clown that's laughing. Hey,